So hi guys, my name's Matt, here for the MTMC Writing Center's screencast on how to put together a resume. So when you put a resume together, a lot of different variables that you want to cover. It's a lot of different moving parts, but the major things that you absolutely have to have are the name field, the contact information field, and address field. Then you get to go into detail about your education, professional experience, your additional experience, and if you think it's appropriate, your hobbies. So you definitely have to list your major and GPA in your education section. Like it's definitely relevant to you guys getting hired, as well as any additional clubs that you might have been in that kind of speak volumes about your ability to work. You're also going to want to list some professional coursework, like relevant fields to you getting the job. Like we're just using Ron Howard right now. But say we're applying for a job in the film industry, where Ron works, you're going to want to list like all film-related courses to help you get the job that you're applying for. And this is part of just knowing your audience, like who you're applying for, and what they anticipate from a standard resume. If you have any industry-related experience, i.e. like an internship or a co-op, you're definitely going to list that in your education section. Any leadership, teamwork, or interpersonal skills and experience you're also going to include in the resume. As you can see for Ron's resume, though, we don't really have that, even though he's for sure directed films before. Communication skills are pretty much essential to any job that you apply for, whether it's film, video, media studies, English, forestry. Basically, any job that you set your mind towards, you have to be able to communicate. And this can be as transparent as just a class that you took in professional coursework, or it can be like a skills section between additional experience and hobbies, like talking about what a great communicator you are. You're going to list your accomplishments, achievements, and awards within the margins between your education and your professional experience. As you can see, the only major award Ron won was being a member of a National Honor Society. And you're going to want to talk about your work ethic and history, like how well you performed at the various jobs that you've held over the years. So, like let's say like you're a blogger, right? You want to emphasize that you generated quality content, and that like the work that you did was the best of the best. And even if it's as lowly as being a line worker for a furniture company, you're going to want to talk about like how well you were able to perform in a job like that. So adapted to conditions is required by ship supervisor. You're definitely going to want to talk about that. Achieved Rookie of the Year 2014. You're definitely going to want to talk about that. And as far as formatting goes, you're going to want to be clean, clear, and concise. So basically don't make it more complicated for the reader by arbitrarily like covering or coloring portions of the resume with red ink. It doesn't really emphasize anything. It doesn't stand out, and it doesn't help them make a decision better, like whether or not to hire you. These are pretty common fallacies when interpreting resumes. Is that color doesn't help the information stand out any better. But what does is changing the bold and the size of the typeface with the rest of the body text. So you can clearly see that education is a different size and font format than the body text for like graduated fall of 2016, digital news production, international film history. Like you want to distinguish those fields so that it's not all just bold, right? Because you get to a case like that and your employer has no idea what you're trying to tell them. As far as being clear and concise, you want to state everything in the shortest version possible. So here for gathered valuable experience in the film industry, it could just be gathered experience on film industry as far as like the parameters of what you learned from that internship. You're constantly going to want to trim the fat to make each sentence and each entry the most basic as possible. And you're also going to want to include bulleted lists to clearly identify like which attributes of the job you picked up from your respective job, co-op, or internship. kind of like we said before, you want to keep your audience in mind when you write. You don't want to, like, if you're putting together a resume for a film industry, you're not going to want to include information on how you took a class in social work, like let's just say community engagement, because that kind of contrasts with the theme that you're going for. Like it stands out, particularly in the professional coursework field, from all the other information that you have up there already. So digital news production, film related, pop art and architecture in America, art related, film communication, film interpretation, American film history. You kind of get the idea. So something like community engagement isn't necessarily relevant to you getting a position in the film industry, even if that was, at the time, valuable experience for you. And you're going to want to, as often as you can, you want to stick to one page. Like Ron here has pretty much every field covered: education, professional experience, and additional experience. But he probably could have limited this to just one page, like trimming out additional experience and hobbies, and just keep it to education and professional experience. It looks a little malnourished, I'll admit, but employers on average spend about like 15 seconds evaluating these resumes, and the less they have to read to understand like what kind of employee you are, the faster they'll get back to you on whether or not they plan to arrange an interview with you. So you definitely want to be as forthcoming with the relevant information as often as possible. And when you go to submit it, because I highly doubt mailing is an option for resumes anymore, you're gonna want to do your name _ resume _ the date that you submitted, and you're gonna want to create like its own folder. Like let's say Viacom application. Whoop. Let's just change this field real quick. Because odds are you're going to send more than one resume to more than one company, right? And the resume that you submit on 4/1/2016, April Fool's Day, you're gonna want to clearly assign to a folder with the employer to immediately bring up when you sit down for a session with them. So hopefully this has been helpful in constructing the basic framework for what a resume is about. I'm Matt, and feel free to stop by the MTMC with any questions that you have regarding resumes or other assignments of the writing variety. Thanks. Bye.